Hello everybody. This video is for my friends that are struggling with their mental health. They are depressed, they're anxious. They finally realize life isn't supposed to be this way. It's early in your healing journey, but you're sick of living this way and you know you have to do your internal work. You have to do your work on yourself. And this is an important message about you doing your work. I wish I would have heard this early on. When it comes on doing your internal work, the only way out is through. Healing is extremely hard. It takes patience, it takes a lot of time. And at first, it's like trying to run up a slippery hill. You're going to slip and fall, you're going to go up a foot, you're going to slip down. It's really hard to get started at first. You're going to feel like you're not making progress for a long time. You have to resist the urge to quit. You're in this forest of misery. You're in it, and there's no fooling yourself. The only way out of the forest is through the forest. So what does this practically mean? If you are finally ready for therapy, or if you're looking for a therapist, you gotta look for therapists. You gotta look every day. You've gotta write to them. If you see a therapist and you have a couple of sessions and you're not clicking with them, give it a little bit of a chance, but you need to trust your gut. If you're not bonding with them, you gotta fire them fast. But you're not done. Oh, well, I tried to get a therapist. No, you got to go again. You got to look for another one. You got to fire fast and you got to hire again. If you have a mindfulness practice, which I recommend, you got to keep meditating. You got to keep being mindful every day. Your mental and physical diet are very important. You got to keep eating well to give yourself a healthy mind. You got to watch the media you're intaking. If you intake negative media, it's going to produce negative chemicals in your brain. You got to keep at it, being disciplined with that. You got to keep learning. You got to keep trying. Again, you're in a forest of misery. The only way out is pushing forward and going through. Anything else than doing action and moving forward, you are scamming yourself. What are self-scams when it comes to not doing your internal work? You can't bargain with the misery. You can't wait it out. You can't trick it. You can't hide from it. You also can't hide it. You can't ignore it. You can't fake it. They can't do it for you. There are no shortcuts, unfortunately, and there is no magic bullet. You must do the hard work. You can't walk around it. You've got to go forward, one foot in front of the other. The only way out is through. Why can't you scam yourself when it comes to doing your work? Well, it's in the definition. You are your work. Wherever you go, there you are. And I said you can't successfully scam yourself. You can scam yourself, but it's a waste of time. I've scammed myself many times. That's why I can tell you this. We all have. But you will never get any better with any of those scams. The only way to progress is to do your work. I've got a great saying here that I'm going to read. And it's more general. It's called doing the thing, any task you need to do. But I replace the thing with your work, because that's what we're talking about. I'm talking about your mental and emotional work to heal. So it goes like this. Preparing to do your work isn't doing your work. Scheduling time to do your work isn't doing your work. Making a to-do list to do your work isn't doing your work. Telling people that you're going to do your work isn't doing your work. Messaging friends who may or may not be doing their work isn't doing your work. Writing a banger tweet about how you're going to do your work isn't doing your work. Hating on yourself for not doing your work isn't doing your work. Hating other people who have done their work isn't doing your work. Hating on the obstacles in the way of doing your work is not doing your work. Fantasizing about all the adoration you'll receive once you do your work isn't doing your work. Reading about how to do your work isn't doing your work. Reading about how other people did their work isn't doing your work. Reading this essay isn't doing your work. The only thing that is doing your work is doing your work. Go do your work. It's good to run that filter sometimes because, yes, we need videos like this. We do need to understand our brain and learn. But it's good to hit it with that filter. Am I actually doing my work? Am I actually doing an action, which is the only thing that improves this? The only way forward is through. And of course, many people could say, well, that's easy for you to say. I've been in the position where I could not move. So this message are for the people that are ready to hear this message. For people that aren't, I completely understand you. But no, until you are ready to take some actions and actually move forward, you're going to continue to suffer and live that smaller life. And I hope it doesn't take you too long before you hit that tipping point where you are willing to do anything to change, when you are sick of being sick. But again, I've been there, so I understand that. That is no judgment at all if you feel like you can't do some of these steps. You can get there, you will get there, and when you get to it, you can fix yourself. I'm rooting for you. Hopefully this was helpful to somebody today. Take care.